most of you guys know me. I actually graduated the bridge September, beginning of September of this year. Let's see. I started off knowing about drugs when I was 5 years old. I actually popped in a lock in my mom's closet and saw a mirror with a dope on it, with a razor blade and a little straw, and I realized then it was no good. By the time I was 7, I found needles around my backyard and stuff when my dad was shooting up, and they never did nothing in front of me, but you know, you get the realization kids are smart, so I knew then, and the funny thing is I told myself I'd never shoot up, but I never told myself I'd never do drugs, which I kind of probably messed up on that one. I started smoking cigarettes when I was 7 years old, and then started stealing right about then, because every time I asked for something, they said no. So I got into bad habits early, and you know, by the time I was 12, almost 13, I started smoking weed. Moved to Pacific Grove right about that time, you know, so I didn't know anybody, and that kind of hits you hard, you know. You don't hang out with nobody, you don't have any friends, it seems like. So you pick up bad habits, but you know, I stuck with my bike riding and everything, and I was into a lot of sports still and stuck with it, but after a while you just lose the motivation to keep with it. So by the time I was 14, I was actually doing crank, and I actually smoked a few times with my mom, and you know, so they weren't any good influences on me, you know. Just you gotta live and learn from what you do, you know, and as long as you take it as something that you can learn off of, and don't look down, don't like hate on the people that showed you it or whatever, you know. Just you made your own choices, and yeah, I know that. So I made the bad ones, and I learned from them quite quickly, because I'm lucky I'm 22 right now, and just got my things going for me. I've been almost sober for 2 years here in 2 months.
Yeah.
God pulled me in, and you know, right then I realized, you know, my life wasn't going nowhere. Yes, yeah, I was still paying my bills. I was working all the time, but you know, I was still messing up by doing the drugs. I mean, whether I had money in my pocket and whether I was getting my rent paid and stuff, it just nothing was happening for me. You know, my life wasn't going nowhere. It was just staying where it was, and that wasn't cool with me. So, you know, once God pulled me in, I turned myself in. I had a bench warrant out for my arrest for about a year. I wasn't running. It was just I was not running into the cops. So I went and turned myself in, and they actually tried to give me over a year, and it knocked down to 9 months, and I did 3.5 of it, which was good because I got sober. I got away from all the people I was hanging out with, and I knew that was the reason, because I've tried to quit on my own, and just with the people you hang around, if they're bad influences, you're going to get stuck right back into it. So once I got out, I was so alone for 3 months, and you know, as I turned myself in, I started reading the Bible, and we got a little thing going, prayer meeting at night, and just little Bible studies during the day. It was cool. I got out, and I didn't know anyone that went to church, so it was hard for me to go, oh, I'm gonna go to that church, because there's so many of them. So I actually ran into Charles, and I knew him. I met him through Sanjay, and they said they were coming here, and I said, well, I'd like to check it out. Took 3.5 months, and I came here, and it was good. I enjoyed it, so I kept coming, and got to know a lot of people, and courts actually told me that I had to be in a program, but not for a whole year. But I chose the bridge because I wanted to stay in church and, you know, keep doing right, and the other programs that they want to send you to, they don't allow, you know, they allow their program, which is NA style, and like you can go to church, it's just like very rarely. You gotta have your ride and just things like that. I would only had to win for 3 or 6 months, but I chose this one. It felt comfortable, and I did what I wanted to do. So I graduated, and I've been sober for, like I said, in 2 months it'll be 2 years, and just start my life. You know, this month I've had my job for a year, and you know, during the program I slipped up a couple times. I had a beer one day, and then like 3 or 4 months later I had like 2 more beers. And the first time I came up to Mike and I told him, yeah, I drank a beer, and he goes, oh, well, you know there's going to be consequences, right? And I go, well, yeah, I'm sure there is, you know. But, you know, I felt that I told him, and so there was a consequence for that. But still, that wasn't never my problem. It was marijuana and crystal meth. So I'm working on cigarettes now. That's been the hardest one for me, and I'm slowing down, you know, but it's just that's been a hard one. Like I said, I started when I was 7, and it's like I stopped one time for a year when I was 13, and I picked all the bad habits up, and that one came with it. So getting back into school now, about to take a couple classes next semester, and stick with work. My life's going good right now.
I hope you don't mind if I ask you a question.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. You're so young, you're so good looking, you seem so motivated, you know, and you've got a long life ahead of you, and we're living in a really stressful world. And I just wondered, like, the times that you have slipped back, can you look at it and say, you know, where you got blindsided or where the enemy got in there?
I'd have to say the just people's thoughts, and you go with it, you know. Wouldn't say it was the crowd I was around, because I was around decent people. It's just you know, all those thoughts that are coming through, and you know, they're doing one thing, they were drinking, and I was like, well, I'll have a beer, you know. We were playing pool. It just went with the scene, I guess, you know. So to say, you gotta really stick around the people that are gonna do well for you, you know. Because if you start hanging around those bad influences and you know they're doing bad, you're gonna pull out quick, because you will get sucked back into it, or start, you know. So gotta learn from your mistakes, and I'm luckily I have, you know. I don't look down on my parents for what they did, you know. It's their decisions too, and it just felt like I had to grow quick, you know, just in my life, you know. So right now I feel like I've had a full life. I've learned a lot and just went through a lot, so I'm doing good though. I'm good with it. And just sticking with fellowship, that's good.
Good. Thank you.
I want to say, if anybody has any kids downstairs, I don't know if there's 10 more minutes.